A very warm welcome to The Bottom Line, a wrap of the business news of the day. And tonight we're focusing on the world's biggest cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Shortly we'll be hearing from the City of Joburg that refused to hand over 4 Bitcoins to hackers today. Ironically, there are global events driving up Bitcoin at the moment, which we thought we'd show you. It would have made that ransom payment more expensive if it had gone ahead. Another reminder of how we in South Africa are always caught up in global economic events. So let's take a look. Firstly, how much does 4 Bitcoin cost? Well, the value of Bitcoin today hovering at about $9,400, which is about 140,000 Rand. So times that by 4 Bitcoin will cost you more than R500,000, around 560,000 Rand. Bitcoin now have been rallying since the end of last week. So let's take a look at that. Last Wednesday, Bitcoin was at a 5-month low, below $7,300. Then look at the spike. The Chinese government said it would increase investment in blockchain technology, which is, of course, the underlying record-keeping technology that keeps Bitcoin transactions secure. That pushed up Bitcoin by double digits all the way above $10,000 over the weekend, and we're hovering just below that. It does remain to be seen if these high levels will remain because Bitcoin has been slumping for about 4 months now. And remember, the all-time high for this cryptocurrency is still even double this spike that we saw over the weekend, around $20,000. A warning again not to invest your school fees in Bitcoins. And an interesting prediction, according to a cybercrime expert we spoke to last week, cryptocurrency will be used in 70% of all criminal activities by 2021. So the City of Joburg has not given in to the demands of those hackers to hand over those 4 Bitcoins today, but it has conceded that there were loopholes in its system. The city shut down its website as a precautionary measure last week. Briefing the media and residents today, Finance MMC Ngobeni said 80% of services had been restored. He could not put a timeline on when the remaining 20% will be restored.
We have managed to bring up some of our critical customer-facing systems from the technical perspective, such as our billing system, our property valuation system, land information system, our e-health and libraries services. I would like to advise our customers who want to pay their rates and their bills that they may do so using alternative payment methods such as your EFT, your Easy Pay, such as the one that we have with Pick and Pay and Checkers or the post office. Regrettably, the city's call center remains down at the moment. Engineers continue to work to resolve these matters. While I do not have estimated time for restoration of our call center, we commit to keeping our residents updated via our social media pages. This attack is an opportunistic attack in both its form and its timing. It is opportunistic in that it is timed to coincide with all city month-end processes affecting both our supplier payments and customer payments. With regards to other matters, building plan and town planning systems also remains down. This means that the city's planning department will be operating on limited services. In view of this, as a city, we want to apologize to our residents, developers, the industry partners for the interruption to our usual business operations. The city has always taken a position against lawlessness of any nature and any form. This cyber attack is being seen not only as an attack on the city's systems, but also as an attack on the people of our city.
All right, to discuss further, we're joined by the spokesperson for the City of Joburg, Nthatisi Modingoane. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Modingoane. So you didn't pay the money over today. Let's confirm, no Bitcoin, no portion of Bitcoin has been paid.
We didn't pay money because, one, we don't promote criminal activities. Two, we don't know who to hand the Bitcoins to. So we don't have the Bitcoins.
Okay. So what does that mean for Joburg residents now, like myself? Does it mean that our data is going to be dumped all over the internet tomorrow?
Okay. The initial investigations that we've done on the system itself suggest that they might have some information, but not critical information, not confidential information of residents of Johannesburg. The attack happened on the user platforms. So if I'm sitting on my laptop and it hits me, it takes all the documentation on my work machine only.
And that would be a staffer, a City of Joburg's official.
Yes.
So what information do they have and what information don't they have?
We're still trying to establish. That's why we roped in the group forensic and investigation.
Because you said they don't have critical information, but now you're saying you don't know which information they have.
What you could have, let me make an example with me. I would maybe at times save my pay slips on my workstation. That could have gone. But they didn't go into the SAP system, for example, where the transactions are happening. They didn't go into the e-services. That's what the investigation has proven.
Okay, now you're talking about staff information. What about residents, Joburg City resident information?
We're confident that residents' information is safe because the attack didn't go as deep as into the applications. And the IT team, I'm from the Joint Operation Committee now, they were briefing me. They said no, they are confident that the system was not hard hit. It's only from the user platform where a person is using their own workstation.
Okay. Yeah. Are you sure about this? Because I saw the head of IT said there's no financial information, but there's a whole lot of other information they may have. We know that if IDs can be linked to a name, an address, people can steal your identity. Are there any concerns like that?
No, we were always concerned that they might have information. Hence, Shadrach Sibia was also part of the briefing. And he had to give an update on the investigations and stuff. And he assured us that they are making inroads, they are making progress. But
before we get to that, I'm just trying to ascertain how vulnerable Joburg City residents are. Can you assure me that our data is not going to be released tomorrow?
Our deadline was today at 5, and we are monitoring all platforms to check what they're doing. We didn't pay them. They said if we don't pay, they release it. And they said they were going to release after 5. I've been checking, I've been online, and we want to assure people of Johannesburg that we're doing everything in our powers to make sure that their information, critical information, is not compromised.
Okay, but you said the hackers don't have our critical information. I'm just trying to
I don't think they
ascertain exactly what they have.
I don't think they have, because that information doesn't sit on the work machine. It doesn't sit. It doesn't sit on the laptop. It doesn't sit on the workstation.
And you said they only got to use 11. All right, there has been an acknowledgement that there were loopholes in the system today. Why?
The thing that happened is that last month, Council approved the strategy to beef up the IT infrastructure. And one of the things that were picked up when we were doing that strategy was the vulnerability of the system itself. And the work was already going to start in terms of making sure that we beef up, we make sure that the system is... Unfortunately, we were hacked while we rolling out the implementation of the plan.
But I mean, you've been holding critical information for years.
Yes.
Nthatisi, for years and years. You've got to ensure your software is up to date, antivirus technology. These things are in the control of the City of Joburg.
Yes.
Have residents been wholly let down here?
No, not
for
really.
Years. You've been
because
you're admitting that there are loopholes for years.
We've been upgrading, but maybe the upgrades were not as fast as the hackers are. So the plan that we are rolling out was to tighten all the systems to make sure that we don't experience this thing. For example, now as we're busy putting back the system, one of the things that we're doing, We don't put the entire system up in case that we get hit again. We're doing it in phases so that we protect each environment and make sure that this thing doesn't occur again.
And what is being done to ensure it doesn't occur again when the system is up?
What is done is to make sure that all the antivirus, all the protection issues are prioritized as we roll out the new softwares and new systems and so forth. So everything that we're putting up gets secured with the up-to-date, state-of-the-art security systems.
As far as I know, City Power was hit. Ransomware was used in July, so that was a few months ago.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a wake-up call for the city of Joburg? I mean, that was months ago.
It was a wake-up call. That's why the strategy was beefed up to roll out the safety mechanisms.
Okay, but then the hacking happened before.
And then it happens when we're busy rolling out the corrective measures.
All right, two quick questions. What can Joburg residents not do right now because of this 20% outstanding services sort of not online?
What Joburg residents can't do now is get hold of us on the call center, for example. The call center is down, all of it. They can't receive via email their statements. But we are advising them to not wait for the statement. Pay the minimum that the average that you normally pay while we're trying to fix our situation.
Okay, so nobody will receive bills for a while. You're saying pay something. What about emergency services? Anything critical affected?
Emergency services, day one, all the calls were rerouted to the provincial line, which is 112. So there was no severe impact.
Okay, so if you're in trouble, there's not going to be an impact?
If you are in trouble, you call 112 and then the ambulance will respond.
And is that widely known? So, because most people know 10-111.
Yeah.
Will that work?
No, the 112 is a provincial line. It's known. It's run by the Gauteng province.
What happens if you call 10-111 in Joburg?
10-111 is the police.
Okay, so it'll still work for emergencies. All right. Tell us finally, the head of IT again saying that you've located the origin of the attack and you know the location of the hackers. What does that mean? Why are they not being arrested as we speak, or are they?
You know, the security cluster personnel, they treat every lead and information with the utmost respect that it deserves. So they didn't want to divulge as much as to what operations are they rolling out on the ground. But we were assured that they are on the ground and they are following the leads.
All right. So we're hoping for an imminent arrest. Is that what you're saying?
We're hoping for that.
All right. All right. Thank you very much for your time. That was the spokesperson for the City of Joburg, Nthatisi Modingoane. Now, in other business news tonight, investors in Sasol's shares have reacted positively to the news of a new CEO. The chemicals giant announced the outcomes of a board review on the root cause of shortcomings in its US projects. We've seen huge overruns there, citing an incompetent project management team for the cost overruns. Sasol's co-CEOs, Bongani Nkwababa and Stephen Cornell, announcing that they have resigned. They will be replaced by Executive Vice President for Chemicals Fleetwood Grobler from next month. Having twice delayed its financial results for the year ended June to probe those cost overruns at the project, Sasol says it's now confident the project will cost as much as $13 billion in line with its guidance in September. The Lake Charles Chemicals project was initially expected to close at $9 billion, while Sasol's share price has fallen over 37% this year, putting it on track for its worst yearly performance in 21 years. The firm's stock picked up by as much as 9% in early morning trade. Now, last week's re-establishment of the SARS Large Business Centre has brought some hope that the Revenue Service could be closer to meeting National Treasury's collections expectations. The Large Business Centre deals with corporate taxes, which contribute about 16% to the total revenue. There have been continued disparities between National Treasury's expectations and the revenue that SARS has been able to bring in. Well, SARS has failed to meet its revenue targets for 5 years now, and its revenue shortfall is currently about 14.6 billion rand. This is short of the revised 1.3 trillion target set during the 2019 February budget speech. SARS's new Commissioner, Edward Kisweta, is on a mission to help improve tax collection and to regain the public's trust and confidence in SARS. The bulk of tax revenue at SARS is expected to come from corporate and personal income taxes. But it remains to be seen whether Treasury's revenue estimate of 1.58 trillion, the projection for tax revenue next year, will be met. Moving further afield, Hong Kong has plunged into recession due to 5 months of anti-government protests that once again ignited over the weekend. Demonstrators yesterday hurled petrol bombs at shops and police. They've routinely touched storefronts and businesses, including banks, particularly those owned by mainland Chinese companies. They are angry about what they view as increasing interference by Beijing in Hong Kong. China denies meddling. Instead, it's accused foreign governments, including the United States and Britain, of stirring up trouble. Tourist numbers have plummeted, with visitor numbers down nearly 50% in October. And that's a wrap. That was the bottom line. See you tomorrow.